Hey, how are ya? Welcome to the channel. This is my first video, so yeah, let's get it on. I got the frothy pants on. I'm pretty excited to talk to you guys. It's taken a while. It's taken a while to get here. I'm not gonna lie. Look, I want to have a better 2024. I've got to have a better year. So hopefully you want to follow along with me with whatever creative endeavor that you're into. Let's achieve more in 2024 than the last couple of years and have a better year. And specifically, what am I going to be doing? I'm going to be reading a bunch of self-improvement books, and I'm going to be writing my own book. Yeah, that's right. Writing my own book. So, I'll tell you more about writing my own book, in a minute. I guess I've got a pretty different, unique lens, to talk to you through, and the way that I'm viewing things. Look, I have a full-time job. I have a family. I don't have like 40 hours a week that I'm just wasting. I'm not just sitting on the couch throttling the bong. That's just not me. I work really hard, and I've got lots of commitments. But I feel like a 25-year-old. But when I look in the mirror, I don't see a 25-year-old staring back at me. But it's really painful. I also, interestingly, have been a social media denier for a long time. Yeah, I know. It's only in the last couple of months that I've finally, I've never had a Twitter, Facebook, X account, Insta. Never done it. It's only been till the last couple of months when I've actually, been dragged into this world by Ali Abdaal, Dan Coe, and my kids, having to keep up with my kids. So, it's finally happened. But for so long, I've just been just a denier, just not wanting to get involved in it. And really, I've had to acknowledge that social media is just woven throughout the fabric of society, and that I've been wrong with ignoring it. And you just got to get to grips with it, or it's just time to kind of strap the tin hat on and put a tin hat on, go live in the middle of the desert, and just be a denier out there. But as far as living in the big city and being a denier, those days are over. So I've abandoned that mindset, and I'm really trying to embrace it. And get involved with social media, write a book, get on the tube. Here I am talking to you, and get the froth on. If you go and watch some of Dan Coe's old videos. He's got some really, really persuasive arguments about why social media is just so pervasive and woven through everything that we do these days. And he's the first guy that I came across that was able to explain everything clearly. It's always just kind of ranting at the moon, like, how does this stuff work and why is it so important? And he's got video after video where he just explains it so clearly, and I was like, wow, Dan, you the man. It's amazing. I really encourage you to go have a look at those videos. If you're not all over it like a rash already, just go and watch some of Dan's old videos where he explains social media. OMG, just amazing. So I guess that I'm kind of, I'm on what I'm going to offer you is a creative journey, kind of, getting going together. I'm going to read a bunch of books, write a book along the way. It's a creative journey, and I guess that I hope that you might follow along with whatever you are wanting to do yourself. So that, I should generate a whole lot of learnings and insights with you. Hopefully that just really kicks you up the arse and gets you rolling on your own creative thing. So that could be writing like me. It could be art. It could be writing music. It's a huge one. Something that I've been involved in and has given me massive satisfaction throughout my life. It could be joining a band. Again, something really daunting. Been involved with multiple bands. that never went anywhere but still just gave me amazing joy. It could be performing live. So if you're an introvert like me and performing live, doing spoken word stuff, reading poetry, whatever it might be, this sort of stuff, it just seems so daunting, but you can get going and it'll add so much value to your life. It could be sport. It could be something like learning to surf. I'm probably going to wind up ranting and raving about how good surfing is for you and just the benefits. Learning, surfing, being out there with nature, communing with nature, just the benefits. It doesn't have to be surfing. Look, it could be mountain biking down a mountain, whatever it might be. So whatever it might be, hoping to inspire you to follow along with my journey. Let's generate some insights together. You and I, we'll do it. So Ali Abdaal and Dan Coe. Look, so these are the two creators that kicked me up the arse and got me going. Ali Abdaal really was, I found the guy so inspiring, and he's got a special kind of superpower, this guy. And he really inspired me because he's not, obviously he's this super intelligent dude. He was a doctor. He kind of leveraged these skills and, transferred over to being a creator on YouTube. And he's this super smart dude, and that he's like 500 levels above where you are in life. But after video after video after video, never did I feel for 1 second that Ali Abdaal was kind of looking down at you and lecturing you. And it always just felt like the dude was shoulder to shoulder beside me, just kind of whispering in my ear, like, come on, man, like, you've got this. We can do this together, and I'm here with you, and I'm right beside you, and it just felt like he's always, I don't know the guy, obviously, but it just feels like he's just right beside me. That's his superpower. Just this non-lecturing dude who's super smart, super high level. He's highly evolved, but it just felt like the dude's shoulder to shoulder beside me, just kind of quietly whispering, come on, man, like, we can do it. Like, let's go. Come on. Let's get this done. And just really appreciate him so much. So he kind of built the foundations of my house, so to speak. And I watched the hell out of Ali Abdaal. And then I found Dan Coe. And that dude is, he kind of poured the fire on my house and just set it alight. Wow, he's got some fantastic videos, and there's another creator that I admire, and you watch his old videos and you watch him evolve over the couple of years, and it's just incredible, and there's just so much value in his videos. And so between Ali Abdaal and Dan Coe, I just found so much value. You've probably heard of Ali Abdaal, you might not have heard of Dan Coe, but anyway, whatever, go watch the videos, start from their older videos and watch them evolve over time. Amazing, so much value. Two people that I found really inspiring. Okay, so both of these guys just advocate for getting going. Just get off your ass, get going. It doesn't matter how bad it is. Take the equipment that you've got and just start doing the thing and work it out along the way. And so here I am filming on a GoPro with a cheap mic, just getting going. Finally showing up to what I've been promising to do for quite some time, which is a process of reading and writing and seeing what comes out. So I'm going to read a bunch of self-improvement books and just kind of throw them all into my head. And the idea was just chuck them into my head and, get a wooden spoon out and just stir the pot and just stir the stew and just, clear the fog out, scrape the rust off, grease the wheels, so to speak, and just get a whole lot of different thoughts into my head. You can chill. I've got no intention of writing a self-improvement book. I'm not going to be doing an Ali or a Dan and spitting out a self-improvement book, which I'm going to try to sell you later. So just be chilling, all right? I'm going to be writing more of I'm on the path. I'll tell you more about this in a second. Writing a children's book, kind of a young person's book, a children's book. I mean, that's the angle that it's headed in, and that's just being my authentic self. That's just what's come out naturally. So, that's where it's going. So, but I'm really interested in reading these self-improvement books and trying to become a better person, a more highly evolved person, and seeing how that affects my art, my writing. So, I've got a ton of books. I guess this is a little bit embarrassing. I've got more than 20 self-improvement books, which I was going to read my way through. And this is something that is a perpetual problem for me, where I build up the knowledge, but I don't take action. And here I am doing it again. I think there's 22 books there, something like that. And it's here I go again. It's kind of really embarrassing, and I've got to stop doing this. I've got to get to more that point of just taking action. I would love to have, kind of got going with a poll, started reading the first few books myself, presenting a review of these books to you every week, every second week, but hopefully every week. And then getting a poll up and letting you drive what I read next. So, reading the rules, I need 3,000 hours of watch time and 500 subscribers, I believe, before I can get a community poll up. So, here's the point where I ask you to like and subscribe. Let's get a community poll going. Let's have a bit of fun. There's a whole lot of books here. Once we get I can get that community poll up, then you can start telling me what you want me to read next. What review do you want to see next week? So, let's get that going. But let's have a look at what I am going to read. The massive pile of books that we've got so far. I'll go through this quickly, okay? All right. We've got Show Your Work. Now, you can blame Ali for that. He did a review of that recently. The E-Myth. Ooh, I think that's another one that we can blame Ali for me reading. Feel Good Productivity. Who can we blame this one on? Okay, one of my heroes. I've just finished reading it, so I'm really excited to get a review up of this soon, okay? Great at Work. Think Like a Monk. Now, I look at this and I go, there's this really good looking dude staring off the cover, like his hair's perfect, he's got this golden glowing skin, he's got nice eyes, his teeth are glowing white, like he's just this really good looking dude staring off the cover. And this is normally the stuff that I'd take a wide berth around. But I started following him on on Insta and Twitter. I can't call it X, I gotta call it Twitter. And his stuff's pretty good, I gotta say. So interested to read this book and get back to you with my thoughts. Getting Things Done. Mindset. Poodles. Yeah, pretty excited to read that actually. Look at that cranky poodle. The School of Life. I'm a little nervous to read that, is the truth. Grit. The Subtle Art of Not Giving. I've just started reading this and I can't wait to review this book. I've got it's going to be a great review. I've got a fair bit of friction with this, so yeah, let's have fun with the review, okay? Awakening the Giant Within. Now here's a guy that has been around like forever. He's been rolling around since I was kind of young, it feels like. But he's been around, he hasn't gone away, and he's been extraordinarily successful. So from a distance, I don't really like him, but I've got to just start changing my perception about this sort of stuff. This guy's been extraordinarily successful, and there must be some gold in this book. So really looking forward to reading this one. The Courage to be Disliked. Ah, all right. The Black Swan. Now, I bought this back in the day when it first came out, and I'm not sure if you can see how crusty and yellow those pages are. This is my OG copy. And this is the only self-improvement book that I've ever bought and actually read. And I really liked this book. I loved it. So Nicholas Nassim Taleb, I liked it a lot. So I'm going to reread it and I'm going to present a fresh review. But first, embarrassingly, I'm going to tell you. For Christmas a couple of years ago, I received Anti-Fragile. What's that? Skin in the Game. And Fooled by Randomness. And these books have sat in my bookcase for the last 2 to 3 years. I haven't read them. I can't tell you why. This is an author that I like. I liked The Black Swan. Why haven't I read his books? It's just really embarrassing why I haven't gotten off my ass and read these other books. Yeah, I don't have any reasons. The Power of Moments. Creativity Inc., which is the story of Pixar, actually gets really good reviews, so I was quite interested to read this. Make Time. I think I saw Ali put up a review of this recently. I haven't watched that video, but so that's kind of cool. He's done this book as well. All right, I'm a little scared to say this guy's second name, Flo. Mihai Mesepchihai, I think it is. So Dan recommends this book a lot, so excited to read this. Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. Again, another one that Dan recommends a lot. The Defining Decade. Why Your 20s Matter and How to Make the Most of Them Now. I mean, obviously, I'm only just a little bit past my 20s, so we'll read this, all right? That will never work. What is this one? It's about Netflix. Yes, sweet. So this got some really good reviews on Amazon, so that could be a really good book. The Startup of You. Surrounded by Idiots. Distracted. Really hoping that you haven't been distracted and clicked off this video and that you're still here watching. Thank you. Jordan Peterson, 12 Rules for Life. He's a guy that gets a lot of publicity. So 12 Rules, the first book. And we've got the second book in there as well. Beyond Order, 12 More Rules. All right. This book. You've probably seen this. Atomic Habits. James Clear. So, look, I'm going to put up an actual proper review of this book, but spoiler alert, I might as well spit it out. This is a great book. I really, really, really enjoyed this book. I'll do the in-depth review, but if you're kind of shaking your fist at the screen, like, I had expectations of book reviews and you're doing nothing, you're just kind of holding books up in front of the camera. Okay, if you have not bought a single self-improvement book, this is the book that you're going to start with, okay? Atomic Habits. I read it a couple of weeks ago and I had a number of banging my head on the table moments, revelatory moments where I was just like, damn, Jimmy, why didn't you give this book to me years ago? It's taken me years and years and years to work out some of these things through trial and error. And I could have just read the book. Yeah, great book. All right, that pile's about to fall over. So, none of those books relate to what I'm going to write myself. but we're going to use all those books to stir the stew. Okay, so hopefully you're interested. There's quite a few there, so there's some good stuff. Now, writing a book. So there's so much meat on the bone there, and I'm going to have to make some separate videos on my writing journey. But wow, I was too scared to get in front of the camera and talk to you until I had a little bit of proof that I could actually do this. So I've only read a couple of these books. I read about 4 of them, but I am a little bit of the way down the line with writing a book, because I was just far too scared to get in front of the camera and say, hey, I'm going to write a book, and then not be able to do it, and like 6 months later be just madly deleting videos like, oh crap, it never happened and I can't do it, I don't know what I'm doing and I'm an idiot and I better just backtrack on all of that and delete. So we are in March 24, in the middle of 23, I started writing a book, and I was just petrified to get on camera until I actually had some proof that I could do this. And here we go. This is a rough draft. It's been done for a few months and it's just sitting there. I actually have a rough draft of a book. I'm not going to call it a book. It's a rough draft. Let's just enjoy that. There it is. More than 100,000 words. So I'm going to talk to you in separate videos about how I did this. How the hell did I get to this point? Actually quite exciting. So concerned that I couldn't do it. It's really rough and it needs a lot of work. So we're going to have a lot of fun kind of working through, turning it into a book. I had this perception that this rough draft was going to be this piece of utter magic, from the moment that I, put the pen down, so to speak. And it's taken a while, it's taken a few months and a bit of feedback from people for me to realize that it's not a piece of magic. It's a rough draft and it needs a whole lot of work. And so there's a whole lot of emotion, this emotional roller coaster that I've gone through. Now I've come to terms with the fact that it needs work, so we are going to work through that process together. Remember, I'm a social media denier, so we're going to have to get on websites, hire contractors, and get all that sort of help. Wow. Anyway, if I can get to this point, I can get to the next point. So you're going to be watching that, okay, as I do it. I've got a fair bit to talk to you about my failed writing journey so far. So there's just a whole nother video coming where I just talk about my failed journey. OMG, what a failed journey. And just imposter syndrome. Ali and Dan have helped me with this so much, but it's held me back so much. I always felt like I could write a book, but I never did. And this goes on from when I was a teenager. That was only a couple of years ago, right? It's to the point where I actually started a different book. Got about 5,000 words into a different book. And if I knew what I knew now, that's rolling. Like that's second, third gear stuff, and you cooking with gas. But I stopped. And I can't even tell you why. Just blows my mind. And that book is still sitting on a separate laptop. And I stopped for reasons I can't explain. I gave up. I suspect it was, for the imposter syndrome reasons, thinking that it wasn't good enough, that my work was of a low standard. Who was going to like it? Who was going to accept it as a piece of work? I just stopped. To time is a huge thing for me as well. So my life is really structured. And if you're, married, got a partner, got kids, got a mortgage, got a whole bunch of responsibilities in your life, you're sitting there nodding, yeah, my life is really structured as well. Where do I find the time to do the creative things? This has held me back so much. It's held me back so much. I feel like in a future video that I'm going to be able to help you a little bit here. I've actually found some things that work. So my life is really structured. I'm not the dude sitting on the couch chugging down bongs. If you're that guy, hopefully you've clicked off by now, because I'm not for you. I'm going to be talking to you about how the hell do you do stuff with a really structured life. If you're throttling the bong, click off. I'm not for you. Find someone else that's a little more appropriate for you. I'm up early already. Could be dropping the kids to sport before work. I'm an early starter. Go to work, work a day. Got elderly parents that might need visiting after. There could be sport, training, after school, driving the kids around, dinner, homework. Just, where the hell do you find the creative time to do something like write a book, write your songs, paint your painting, whatever it might be? I've found a couple of keys. If you're a busy person with a structured life, there is some small keys. And it's hoovering up little snippets of time. Now, you might see this if you're watching some self-improvement videos from different people. They might be talking to you about stopping scrolling on your phone and stop wasting time. Dan talks to us about distraction being, the biggest thing that we've got to erase out of our lives at the moment. And he's an amazing guy, but he's not married, doesn't have kids, doesn't have a mortgage, and all that sort of stuff. And I think back to all the free time that I had in my 20s, and wish I could travel back in time, but I can't. I'm here right now, living a very structured life. So it's these little snippets of time that you've got to look to. And you've got to look to hoover up these little snippets of time. You've got to look to stitch them all together. Think of lots of little creeks all joining to form a bigger creek, and lots of these bigger creeks flowing into a river, and then lots of rivers flowing into the ocean. You've got to get all these little creeks, all these little snippets of time together. For the structured person, this is where the gold lies. So, by hoovering up these little snippets of time, you can get to your creative endeavors. I'm looking down at some of the notes. Your creative endeavors. Once you realize what seat desk syndrome is. It's this thing that's held me back. Another thing that's held me back. What the hell is seat desk syndrome? Oh man, there's a whole nother video in this, okay? I own a seated desk. I'm going to get it out and just do this whole separate video. OMG, wait for that one. So we've got something to get going with. We've got stuff to talk about. We can move forward together, you and I. And for me, it's taken a lot of watching Ali Abdaal and Dan Coe just over and over, watching those videos that are my favorites, watching those guys kick me up the arse to finally get going. So go and watch those guys. Go and watch those creators. They're amazing. If you're not already into them, so much gold. So I've got a list of upcoming videos that I want to do for you. I'm going to be reporting back on all these self-improvement books, hopefully one a week. I'm going to be reporting back as you and I whip this rough draft into shape. So we'll be working, hiring people, getting help, beta readers, etc. working through that process together. So my first book review, a bunch of book reviews. I'm going to talk to you about my failed writing journey. I'm really sure that a bunch of you out there, you are going to identify with this. It could be that painting you never painted, the band you never joined, scared of getting up on stage, you haven't written that book, whatever it might be. I'm going to talk to you about how I actually wrote a rough draft in 6 months. I think it's about 105,000 words. Once you get going, it's a runaway train, but just getting going is the difficult bit. So I wrote a rough draft in 6 months. I'm going to do a video about that. I'm going to do something that's really fascinated me as I've been doing all this research is the modern phenomenon of the internet guru, the YouTube guru. And I find myself picking up YouTube gurus. I'm fascinated by this concept and going to do a video with my take on this whole scene of these internet gurus. So it's going to be totally sick, and I'm inviting you along. What? What happened? The GoPro fried. Can you believe it? Just as we were winding up that video together, the GoPro fried. Suddenly I just got beep, 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 beep. Your camera is overheating. And the thing shut down and it wouldn't turn back on. So frustrating. It's a couple of days later and I'm kind of all chill about the fact that the GoPro cooked right as you and I were winding that video up. You're kind of sitting there in front of the TV. I can hear you. I can hear you through the screen. You're waving your fist at the screen yelling, but I was so invested with the way that guy was winding up this video and now it's been taken away from me forever. I can hear you through the screen. Look, it's a problem with GoPros. I've heard about it. That's the first time that's ever happened. Write a letter to GoPro. I don't have the money to buy a new camera at the moment. We're stuck with this GoPro, so hopefully it doesn't melt down too often. So frustrating. Because now you see him in a different shirt. It's 2 days later. It's 2 days later. Remember that chat about the structured life? It's taken 2 days for me to get back in front of the camera and actually do this outro with you. So yeah, really frustrating. Anyway, that's what happened. So look, it's 2 days later. Because of my structured life, I couldn't do it yesterday. I just had to get to it today. It's not that late in the night, so the mic is going to be picking up jets going over and maybe the neighbors, so the audio won't be as good. I apologize for that. But I was able to watch the video that you and I created. Anyway, there was one thing that was missed that I didn't talk about that I wanted to talk about. So all those books that I picked up and showed you, I just wanted to say that they've all kind of come to us through random chance. We're just opening ourselves up to randomness. I didn't walk into a bookstore and just buy 22 self-improvement books. These books have come to us through a whole variety of means. So I bought some of them. I was given some. Some have come from op shops. Been going into op shops looking for them. And some have come from street libraries. I don't know if you have this thing wherever you live where people will hang a little box on their front gate. It's called a street library. It's like a local book exchange for free. So I've found a couple of street libraries where people have been reading self-improvement books. So I've been able to collect a couple of the different books out of there, which has been really cool. So, we're just opening ourselves up to the universe, and the universe providing us some different books, which is cool. So we've got some different stuff in the pack there. So I actually spent yesterday, I had to drive the kids around and I worked out of the car and I reread Show Your Work by Austin Kleon. just getting ready for my review that I'll be doing for you in about a week. And one little tip that just kind of blew my mind, I read that book maybe about 6 weeks ago now. It's March 24. I got that book for Christmas as a gift. I read it straight away. So about 6 weeks ago, I thought, I don't need to make notes in the book. I don't want to ruin this book that I like, highlighting it and with pencils and sticky notes and whatever. And then I had to reread it. I didn't make notes. So one little tip, if you're going to be reading a self-improvement book, just make notes and highlight the sections that you really enjoy. Put some little post-it notes in it if you don't want to deface your book. That's important. But there was one hidden benefit, a bit of a silver lining with having to go back and reread Show Your Work. It's kind of changed my perceptions about that book. In the meantime, since I read that book first up, I've read 4 or 5 other books. And so it's been pretty cool going back to reread it. I'm actually really happy. So I'll talk about that in my review. What else? Not a whole lot else. If you've watched all the way to the end of this video, I really appreciate you. Like and subscribe. Let's get that community poll up and going so you can steer me with the book that I read week in, week out. And yeah, look, I'll see you in about a week with a book review. Thanks.